died tonight, to heaven would you go? And if I had to answer, I'd have to say no. Every head was bowed, every eye was closed. I thought about this offer the preacher man proposed. As they began singing, I could not let go. My time was quickly passing. They finished up the song. My chance would disappear before too long. So I prayed, sing me one more verse of that saving song. One more chance for the blood of Calvary. The Father bids me come, and I need to be set free. And I can feel somebody praying for me. So as fast as you can, give me one more line of just as I am. Sing me one more verse of that saving song. Have you ever witnessed this man described to you? Knuckles solid white as he grips the pew. Oh, you'll never know, it might be you. Maybe you need love when you're in a world of hate. Or maybe you're a child of his who needs a little grace. I'm praying now, it's not too late. You don't want to be the one who stays in hopelessness. You don't want to be the one who says, sing me one more verse of that saving song. One more chance for the blood of Calvary. The Father bids me come, and I need to be set free. And I can feel somebody praying for me. So as fast as you can, give me one more line of just as I am. Sing me one more verse. Come on and sing me one more verse of that saving song. Listen to these last 2 lines. Have you heard complaining after the song that the invitation was just a little too long? Can I ask you this evening? Have you heard complaining after the song? The invitation was just a little too long. I'm going to do one more song, and I'm going to do an invitation, and I'm done tonight. But folks, can I tell you something? It's time that we as Christians become Christians again.
Amen.
We've sat back and we've allowed Satan to do so much. And we don't even care. I was talking with a friend of mine the other day, and this was my challenge. Those of you that are friends with me on Facebook probably saw this. When you think about a basketball game, a minute and a half left in the fourth quarter of a state championship, and you're down by just one bucket. How hard is that team going to do
to score just one bucket to tie the game and win. What are they going to do? They're going to pull everything they can. Folks, can I tell you, there's a minute and 30 seconds in this thing that we call life.
Right.
Yeah.
And Satan is up by one bucket. What are we going to do to win the game? Or are we content with letting the buzzer ring? We put our head down in shame and walk away. Can I tell you tonight that God's in control? And we as Christians, it's time to believe that God can do anything again.
Yeah. Amen.
It's time that we as Christians say, you know what, it's not just a head knowledge anymore, it's a heart knowledge. That our God is in control.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I tell you that we as Christians are living in this little circle right now? And we believe that God can do anything inside the circle. But when something gets too big for our brains to comprehend, and it's outside of our circle, folks, can I tell you that we know God can do it here, but we won't let God do it here. God's not going to force a miracle on you. God's not going to force a blessing on you. If you don't want it, you're not going to get it. How many of you tonight believe that God can do anything? I want to ask you this question. I promise I've got one song and then I'm doing invitation. I promise. I want you to imagine tonight that as you're walking out these doors, your cell phone begins to ring. You pick up that phone and on the other end of the line you hear, "Good evening, child. This is Jesus Christ." And I want to sit down just me and you, face to face in a human form, and have dinner with you tonight. What would happen is you pulled into that parking spot at that restaurant. You'd be excited. You walk in there and you sit down, you get your table, and you've got your menu and you're reading it. And as you're reading that menu, all of a sudden walks in the doors the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And he comes over and sits down right in front of you, just you and him. What do you say? What do you do? Could you eat? What about after he left? How many of you would grab that same cell phone and call somebody and say, "I literally just sat down face to face in a human form and had dinner with Jesus Christ"? How many of you would do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, every one of us would call and tell somebody, but can I tell you something? Not one person would believe it. Why? Because it's outside of our circle. Can I tell you folks, the same God that created this world is the same God that can go and have a Cajun filet biscuit with me at Bojangles if he chose to. I was singing at a campground just a few months ago. And there was this lady, she walked up and sat in the very, very back. I was in there like a little pavilion. And after the singing that Saturday night, she walked up to me and she said, "I liked your story. But do you honestly believe that God hears the prayers of His children and even cares what you think?" And I smiled at her a little bit and said, "Yes, I do, because I'm a living proof of it." She said, "What do you mean?" October 1st, month of October of 2014, my wife and I found out we were pregnant. Or she was pregnant, I wasn't. Folks, I was excited. I just knew it. Knew it in my heart. But on October 5th, 2014, I came home. Satan, leave. Get out. He's trying. It's all right, I got a big enough mouth, I can throw this out the window. But folks, on October 5th, I came home. My wife and I wound up going to find out that she had a miscarriage. Can I tell you, I was mad at God. I felt like God had let me down. Satan popped up on my shoulder. And you know what he told me? He said, buddy, you take your time every single weekend and you go and sing to people that in all honesty could care less if you were there or not. And your God did this to you? And He loves you? Folks, I believed it. That week I was going to a big gospel music convention in Raleigh, North Carolina. And when I pulled into that little convention, and I got up and I put my table up and my banners and all that wonderful stuff that we had to put up, that 3-day convention was nothing more than a job to me. I could have cared less about being there. I put that fake smile on because, folks, Satan was throwing lies in my head. We got home on that Sunday evening after the convention. My wife was laying there asleep, and folks, I couldn't. I was tossing and turning all night. But that Sunday morning before that Sunday night, we had sung, and there was the pastor got up and he said these words to me at the end of the service. He said, you know, God knows what He's doing, whether we know what we're doing or not. And that got a hold of me. That wasn't my plan, but it was God's plan. Mm-hmm. And that night I laid there and I looked up to heaven and I said, Lord, I'm sorry for this week being nothing more than a job. I threw ministry out the window. And I said, Lord, I'm sorry. That was my fault. And I don't ever want to do that again. I said, but Lord, I want to know one thing. That little child that you took, was it a little boy? Or was it a little girl? I fell asleep and dreamt that I walked into heaven and died when I was 6 years old with a big old box of oatmeal cream pies. And I was standing there and I was talking to him, and all of a sudden, Daddy! Daddy! And I looked over, and folks, running to me was the sweetest, most beautiful little girl I'd ever seen in my life. And jumped into my arms, grabbed me, gave me a big old hug, and said, Daddy, I love you. Papa's told me stories of everything you and him used to do. Do you think when you get to heaven, me and you can do it? And she kissed me on the neck, and I woke up just like that. I got up and I went to the bathroom, turned the light on, and folks, I literally went to the floor. Because on the side of my neck was a perfect set of lip prints. And it was just like God looked at me and said, there's your answer. Folks, my wife and I are expecting another little girl, Ella Brooke, October 5th, 2015. 1 year to the day that God chose to take our little angel home. Can I tell you tonight, folks, God doesn't always say no. Sometimes God says, just hang on. I've got a plan. What would happen tonight if you could